All right, here is Corthan, the city. And for my players, let me bring you in. Alrighty, upon entering the city of Corthan, there we go. So Corthan itself, now a little bit of background information for everybody. Obviously, Emlyn has been to Corthan. He has been through Corthan. He has spent a little bit of time here, so he is rudimentarily familiar with Corthan. Lilith, no doubt, has been here as well, the fact that her place was so close to it. So, to make matters easier, I have numbered everything, and if you want to know what a building is, you can just ask me, and I will tell you, because most of you would know. Tolgar, you have never been here before in your life, so you are pretty much void of knowledge.
Just shot of water, got it.
That's right. And Liv lived here for a couple of years, so she is very familiar with the city of Corthan. So things to know about Corthan. Corthan is definitively divided into quarters. The southeast quarter is the trade quarter. That is where you have entered. To the left of this is what they call Cheapsides. If you head to the western end from here in the south, you will arrive in Cheapsides, a definitively sectioned off area that is full of scum and slum. It is the poor section. Northwards, you have the religious quarter, where the cathedral to St. Cuthbert resides. It is the cathedral of the Cudgel, and in this region, it is the highest point of religious reference for the churchhood of St. Cuthbert. Father Callan Dufresne. Oh, and Irish! Thank you for hitting the sub button, my friend. Appreciate it, dude. Yes, Father Callan Dufresne is the high priest over the Cathedral of the Cudgel. And then, in the northeastern corner, is what we would politely recall as the well-to-do area. It is where the city hall is. It is where the nobles live. It is where the wealthy merchants reside. And that pretty much is how Corthan is established. Corthan is ruled by a council of 9 members. 9, because that way it's impossible to have a tie when you have a vote. And they, of course, report directly to the king, Marcus Aurelian, who is in the far east, in the capital city of Iridian. Now, since the Great War, however, Marcus Aurelian's eyes have not been particularly paying a lot of attention to the city of Corthan. Over these past 6 to 8 months, the council has had a reasonably free reign, as it were, in making decisions. The last you remember, because none of you have been here particularly recently, the last things that you really remember about Corthan was, since the war, Corthan has gotten a little bit militant compared to what it used to be. Town guards are a little rougher around the edges. They have less tolerance for the possible aspects of crime that may or may not occur. Partially, this is due to their numbers being reduced by almost 80%. Most of them were sent to fight in the war as conscripts, and the city has not even come close to re-establishing its numbers. It is woefully under-policed for a city of its size. In order to help combat crime, what they have done is they have made it tantamount illegal for anybody that lives in Cheapsides to leave Cheapsides after 9 p.m., approximately. Not that anyone's got a watch, but, you know, once it gets dark and the moon is down, if you are a Cheapside resident, you best stay in Cheapsides, because they will arrest you on spec. Is that completely profiling? Yes. Is it classist? Yes. Is it happening? Abso-bloody-lutely. 8-Bit Joe, thanks for the follow. Jaybird, thank you as well for the follow. The reason behind this, if they keep all the potential criminal element in one place, they can just make it a little bit better guarded over there and alleviate some of the burden for the guard and the police, the policing of the city, hopefully in other areas. You and I can both imagine how that means skillful criminal elements may take complete advantage of this. By the time you arrive, as I said, it is about mid-afternoon. It is late summer, so you enter through the huge, big stone keep gates of Corthan, which are very familiar to most of you, and arrive at the initial crossroads here in the trade quarter. Now, all of you are wanted criminals here in Corthan, as well you know. Your presence, many people, being that this is a medieval world, it's not like that there was a TV commercial that plastered your mugshots everywhere, so many people will not know necessarily who you are, but of course, some will. Some will make it their business to know, and it is entirely possible that some of the higher ranking town guardship may know who you are. Needless to say, what precautions you wish to employ to make yourselves unnoticeable is down to you. So you are on horseback, so you all ride into the city. Where do you wish to go first?
I assume we probably discussed who's actually been in the city before we got there, so we know.
Yeah,
that,
I mean,
Lilith's been in there, and
I've lived there for many a year. Tolgar, where do you need to go?
probably where the rich folk live.
Is there a rich folk person that you have in mind?
All I know is he's got a stupid little mustache.
So absolutely nothing.
I'll know his face when I see it.
Now, are you specifically looking for the guy that you beat 9 bales of crap out of?
Yeah, whoever the councilman was.
Because it was a councilman's son that you beat.
His.
And it was his daddy that had you incarcerated for life.
Yeah.
So, you know what both of those look like for obvious reasons, because you were imprisoned here. That's something else, really. So, Liv was pretty much out of it during her actual trial. Bottom line was, she was drugged and unable to speak. And they kangaroo courted her. Tolgar, you were pretty much given a kangaroo court trial as well. They put you on trial. You stood in a stand on shackles. The guy stood there and said, "He beat my son, look at the state of him." His son said, "Yep, it was him," and his 3 friends that were with him, who were also somewhat influential, all concurred with a 4-point eyewitness against you. Doesn't matter what you said, you were found guilty, and because of who it was that you built, instead of the normal 6 months in the city jail, you got life. Emlyn, you actually had probably the closest to a fair trial out of everybody. The problem is you actually did it. You actually were guilty of what you did.
Yep, pretty much.
And Porthan DeWin, a very well-respected yet mercenary wizard here in Corthan that you stole from, gave a very good case and some very damning magical evidence against you. And once again, you were found guilty.
He pointed at my horns, and it was just automatic. Pretty much.
Look, he has horns and everything. He must be guilty. We concur. Let's see. So, yeah. That's pretty much what you recall from the justice system here. Now, Cubstep, thanks for hitting that follow button, bud. All right. Yeah, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go?
We rode in with we're all on a horse. Didn't we leave with more horses than there were riders? Because there was the horse that was pulling the cart.
Well,
and they had 5, and we killed 1.
Oh, you killed 2. One you
two.
put to the axe. The other one rode through Liv's thorn trap and got eviscerated.
Oh,
Yes.
that's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
So
your
we
meat shield.
just
Yep.
got 4 horses.
So you
Yeah,
have 3 of you are on decent riding horses. One of you is on a high quality draft horse.
Okay.
Probably Tolgar is on that.
I would say Tolgar, of course.
Yeah.
Okay,
he
so
definitely did.
my hood is up.
Yeah.
Well-
Is anybody else making any physical
Perception
attempts to hide themselves before you enter the city?
I cowled up, put my cowl over my horns, put them low on my forehead.
Okay.
So you just like, you know.
Just like, ooh.
Hide this beautiful face? I don't think so.
Right.
Aren't you, like,
Also,
half
you
naked?
guys have noticed that Lilith has been a little bit more kind of less chatty and a bit more, almost a little, dare I say it, darker since you left her place.
Okay, that's concerning, but
If you remember, that
Sure.
kind of had started shortly afterwards, and that has
Yeah.
pretty much continued. She doesn't seem... She still makes the same kind of... the same puns. She still kind of does the same innuendos, and she's still very much obsessed with her looks and her beauty and stuff like that. But she just seems a little colder, a little more matter-of-fact with stuff. Some of that warmth seems to have gone.
okay.
She was never warm to Emlyn, so.
Yeah, well, she's a dick, so you know what. Warmest
Lilith,
thing that you need is a fire.
That spell that you mentioned before that turns people's faces into something else. How long does that usually last?
Well, actually, it's not a spell, dear. It's just my own gift. The only spell that I possess at this point will only work on myself, and it's just a disguise. It's not physical.
Okay.
Yeah, she
So
has
it's
a
not-
disguise kit, so she could actually do a check and try to, you know.
I can't seem to recall the spell that I spoke of before.
Disguise kit. I see.
The first thing you can try doing, not taking off your clothes and turning into an animal. Just a thought.
Yeah, that does tend to be damning evidence, doesn't it?
Well, I'll remember that next time you get attacked, Emlyn.
Well, the hope is we don't get attacked in the city, considering, you know, everything.
Yes.
Well, maybe this time we won't, I don't know, jump on a cart and run rampant through a city?
Good
We
one.
need to find a place to stay that we won't be given up to
Well,
the bounty hunters. Maybe the
the-
less savory folk,
well,
but
there is
not
a,
make enemies with them this time.
there is
The
a,
less savory folk would be the first people that would turn us in, I would think. Because they
Oh,
would have
not
the most
here.
to gain.
Not here, dear. This is where I usually went to sell my information.
there is a tavern just up the road. It's a rather nice one, and I don't suggest we stay here for more than a day at most. You know, considering the bounty hunters.
Is there anybody else that needs to do anything in this area?
We just need to be out of sight immediately.
There are a few items I wish to procure, but we don't have the gold to acquire them.
I see.
I-
At one time.
Oh, Lilith, perhaps you should check that saddlebag that we got off of the horse.
Ooh,
Maybe we should do that indoors. Let's get a room in the tavern up, get some food, have a little birthday party, if you will.
It's your
whose
birthday.
is it?
Aw,
Happy
Emlyn's
birthday. Happy birthday, dear Emlyn.
Play the song, Gore.
Play it, play it!
Actually, I was hoping Inviserus would show up because it was actually his birthday the other day.
I haven't seen Inviserus in a while.
I haven't. He's been absent for a couple of weeks, so yeah, you know. All right, so you want to make your way to the tavern?
That's what I'm going
The Boar and Crown?
Sure.
Nice. Thanks for the follow, bud. And Siege, thank you as well.
Thank you, guys.
Alrighty. As you head down the main street, past the building to your left, Hannah's General Goods, you arrive at the very large and flamboyant inn, the Boar and Crown. The symbol above the door is of basically the king. You can see, him wearing his crown and stuff like that, is laying on his back with one hand underneath a boar, basically grabbing hold of underneath its chin, pushing its chin up, and thrusting a hunting spear into it. So it was kind of like a sort of a memento to King Marcus Aurelian on one of his many hunts. That's how it was named. So there you go. It has a large. Next to it is Gillian's Livestock. Now, they specialize in selling all kinds of livestock, but they also sublease space to the Boar and Crown for its stabling. So, if you want to put your horses anywhere, you would know that that is the place to do it.
Okay.
Perfect.
That's
All
what
in?
we do. Yeah.
Before we enter that area, I'd like to do a perception roll to see if there's anybody that I recognize. Seeing how we've had dealings with this area before, at least Liv has, she would want to make sure that everywhere that she goes, she could see.
All right, give me a dice roll and let's see. Okay, with a 19, living in this city for a number of years, yeah, there's a ton of people that you recognize and know. Especially here in the trade quarter. There are a lot of people that you just kind of knew in passing, a few people that you might have had, might have actually eaten meals with and stuff like that. There are some vendors here, various different merchants. Bottom line, there's an awful lot of people that could recognize you, yeah.
Okay. Then she definitely keeps her head down. Actually, I think I'm going to turn into a cat. So is there any place to hide around a corner?
Right here down the main street, realistically, no, because even the side alleys are full of people. This is an incredibly busy and overpopulated city.
Okay.
So you're probably going to need to, get inside or get somewhere a little less public.
Did Liv have any
happen.
contacts? Anybody that she held sacred? And that might know her or might give
here's
into
the
her
thing.
fight.
You absolutely probably would have known a few of the other ladies, some of the other nobles' wives and stuff like that. The problem is, who can you trust?
Right. I'm looking for more of a merchant, maybe somebody that helps her lands out at one time. Maybe a middle person between that.
Let's think. Well, it's entirely possible Iron's Furniture, which is this building right here. He's a fairly wealthy purveyor of fine furniture. It is possible, seeing as you had like a little farming community and woodland area that wasn't too far from here, he may have purchased some of the, stuff that some of the people there at your little hamlet might have made.
Okay.
So it is entirely possible. Whether you want to run a risk of your relationship versus that he may have with the counsel or your husband is entirely up to you, really, isn't it?
Okay. Okay. She keeps her head down as much as she possibly can, covering up as much as she can.
Tolgar, other than the fact that he is on a pretty massive, 20-plus hands horse, and then he himself is pretty massive, who made absolutely no attempt to disguise himself whatsoever, not that he really could, is getting a lot of attention. Indiegogo, thanks for hitting the reset button, my friend. Very much appreciated. Give that man some loving. Spam some rollies and some hype for Indiegogo, guys. Show love to your fellow subs. Yeah, a lot of people are kind of looking at Tolgar, but it's more just out of morbid curiosity than anything else. It's very hard not to look at him.
I just keep my head up straight and my shoulders back and just ride on as if I own the place.
By the time you're finished, you might. Alrighty, okay. You make your way to the edge of the stabling area, which is Gillian's livestock. Gillian is about a 50-year-old bearded man. He's fairly short. He's about 5'6", has jet thick black hair, and a real bushy set of whiskers around his chin. The oddest thing about Gillian is he has no moustache whatsoever, but you recall him having a very large kind of red scar across this part here. Looks like some kind of burn mark, which, bottom line is, poor Gillian can't grow facial hair from here to here. Other than this little patch right here, which looks pretty damn stupid if he lets it grow, so he keeps that shaved, but he does keep a full, thick beard. But it is a little weird. Okay, upon arriving, two of his young lads come running over, open the main gate, and start to reach up to take your horses instinctively by the rein and lead you into the courtyard there.
Okay.
Alright, as they do so, they look up at you and says, how many nights you staying in, ma'am? And he's kind of looking directly at Lilith. Predominantly because he's a teenage boy and she is dressed like something out of a fantasy magazine.
Lilith is just gonna smile and give him a wink.
Alright, he goes bright red. And kind of like nudges his friend, and you see him like points at himself and gives a thumbs up. He says, that one night, is it? 2? Hope you're staying longer than that, love. And at this point, he's getting a little bit confident in himself.
Oh, lordy.
Back off!
Alright, as soon as you say that, he kind of bolts upright, looks up, sees Tolgar, and he's like, oh, sorry, mate, didn't mean nothing by it. Just need to know so that we can tell Gillian how many nights we're stabling for, that's all.
Put us up for one, and we'll extend it if we need to.
Fair enough then. So, normally for big horses,
I think we're gonna pay after that comment.
Oh my god, Tolgar.
He says, well, it's not really down to me, I just work here. You'll have to take that up with the governor.
No.
Just get inside, Tolgar. I'll deal with this.
Okay.
I'm just gonna flick a gold coin at the
Alright,
boy.
he catches the gold
Oh my
coin.
god. Evelyn.
And he looks at you and says, if you want to hold on a minute, sir, I'll get the change. It's only 4 silver.
It's not necessary, just move on.
Well, I can keep the rest.
Sure, go get some beers.
Bloody hell, Tom, we're going to have a fine night tonight, mate. And they, thank you, sir, very kind of you, sir. Do you want us to groom the horses for you as well?
Sure. Yes, in fact.
We'll brush them down good, sir, I promise we will. And we'll make sure that they're sparkling, shiny coats tomorrow.
Great.
Alright, well with that...
I'm just gonna dismount and...
Alrighty. They both come over. One offers to assist Lilith down from the horse, but is kind of doing so in a very kind of nervous way, with one eye that keeps glancing on Tolgar, and the other one just walks over, fairly matter of fact, and kind of just offers his hand for Liv to help her down.
She graciously takes his hand and keeps her head down as low as possible, pulling her hood over and jumps down.
Alrighty.
Lilith is gonna dismount very, not awkwardly, but very making a big show of it as she comes down off the horse. And she's gonna make it very obvious. She's gonna accidentally brush up against him as she moves away.
Alrighty. Okay. Well, he goes completely red, and now he looks like the most awkward schoolboy you've ever seen, because his hormones are significantly now firing on all cylinders, but he's also terrified at the same time of what this might lead to, because Tolgar's there and he's already basically threatened him once. So quick as he can, he leads the horses away from you with a very awkward walk. It's kind of one of those, I'm trying to walk as quickly as I can, but not let you know I'm walking as quickly as I can walk. And he keeps nervously, like, looking back over his shoulder as they lead your horses into the stable.
Before we enter, do you two, and I'm going to point at Lilith and Tolgar, know what's happening to us? Tolgar, Lilith.
I beg your pardon. What's happening?
Drawing attention needlessly. Liv is the only one actually doing what we should be doing, which is being
By giving-
discreet.
An entire piece of gold to that man.
I did that because you almost threatened him for no reason. Who cares about gold? We need gold, we'll get more gold.
Remember that time Liv told you to not throw out your gold so willy-nilly? I just imagine Tolgar saying the word willy-nilly.
I do. It's definitely it's a famous barbarian phrase.
It is.
Willy-nilly. Go get that elk, willy-nilly.
It's well known in the north.
Yeah, definitely to the more brutal tribes. They also like the word. They also say poppycock a lot.
I do apologize, Inwin. I'm used to being the center of attention and drawing attention to myself. I'm sorry, it's a habit.
Emlyn looks at you completely not convinced. He's just shaking his head.
She doesn't expect you to be convinced, so Lilith just kind of...
Oh, you guys are going to be the death of me. And I was beginning to actually like some of you.
How non-committal. Alrighty.
Let's get some food, get
Head
a
inside
room.
the tavern.
Alrighty, you enter into the Boar and Crown. Okay. Oh, I don't want that. I want this.
Liv does want to make another perception roll, specifically looking for any council members, noble people, people that she think would have been at her trial and would know exactly who she was and want to incriminate her again.
Alrighty. You mean like once you enter the tavern?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, well go ahead as you kind of as you stick your head through the doorway and have a glance around, go ahead and give me another perception check. Okay, well, right over here in the far corner is actually one of the council as we speak. You recognize this fellow as Galen Truandor. He's about a 59-year-old man. He's about 5'9", has kind of like a full but very, very tightly kept beard. Has a goatee. He's known for his color blindness. In fact, he's single. And this is one of the reasons why usually the clothing he wears don't match. He doesn't tell subtle colors very well at all. And this is apparent because he has a bright blue hat on. He's wearing what appear to be faded red kind of tight leggings and a pink shirt. Now, it probably wasn't pink, it was probably white at some point, but the colors have run. That being said, he's sitting at a table with a fairly well-dressed man in a green tunic. Doesn't seem to be paying much attention to anybody else at all, and seems to probably be, you know, a couple of pints into an afternoon lunch.
Okay. Does she recall him from anything important other than the council? Him being a councilman?
He is on the council, so he would have been there. He would have been there at everybody's trial.
Would you have been sympathetic towards her or more towards her husband?
there's really no way to tell because you're going to have to assume, even if any of them took a liking to you, if they believe that you were guilty, probably all of that is gone by the wayside. He was never unpleasant to you. His wife, Trudy, you used to, she's a little older than you, but she was always fairly pleasant to entertain with. But yeah, I mean, it's... The bottom line is, one of two things happened. Either legit council members were convinced that you did what you said, or that they accused you of, and the rest, if they knew about it, sold you up the river anyway. So, even if some of them are trustworthy, at this point in time, they probably think you're guilty.
Right. But who knows if they could be persuaded elsewise. While she's entering the tavern, she recounts a memory of this being one of the first places that Roberto has taken her, right when she came from Than's garden. She was slightly wild at the time, being a druid and being from a folky kind of area. And she recalls putting her elbows on the table and stabbing at her food, almost barbarian-like, not very effeminate. And she remembers that Trudy came to her aid and told her, this is the proper way to pick up a knife and fork. And Roberto was screaming at her, telling her that she was a wild creature and she needed to be put in her place.
Okay.
And Liv kind of says that quietly to these guys, if they're in range.
Okay. Okay. Did we already get our key, or did you tell us to come in here to get the key?
You do not have any rooms yet. You only have stabling arranged.
All right. I suggest we huddle in the corner till someone gets the key, and we go straight to our rooms.
Sit in a court with you.
We shouldn't eat down here, is what I'm saying.
Perhaps room service would be the best way to go.
People are starting to look at you now. Not
Room
because
service.
you really... Yeah, people are actually starting to stare at you more because of the fact that you're all just standing in the doorway than anything else. You're starting to look uncomfortable.
All right. I'm going to go shift over to the side here.
Emily's going to the bar.
Alrighty. Okay. And Liv's right here at the doorway. There. Alright, so Emlyn, you are going over to the bar. Alrighty. There's quite a few people at the bar, so you have to wait. If you want to wait your turn, you're probably going to be waiting 5 or 6 minutes, unless you wish to do anything to try to demand or solicit your the service sooner.
Honestly, he's just listening to the chatter around him while he waits for the attention to be given to him.
Alright. Okay. You notice a lot of eyes are going across the other side of the room. And they're pretty much like looking at your friends. One of them is standing in a hood in the middle of standing up against the wall, pretty much, and just trying to not look suspicious. Tolgar is standing next to a table, and again, everybody looks at Tolgar anyway.
I'm gonna lean against the wall.
All
right. So I'm gonna turn around, seeing the attention. I'm gonna turn around, and I'm just gonna go like this and look at Liv, and I'm going to instill a thought in her mind with my beautiful awakened mind ability.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say, sit at the table you're standing out. All of you.
Okay, so you're telling Liv that, so she's not going to know that. She'll have to relay that because that was
no. I'm saying get the others as well.
Alright.
Well, if they're all
Anthony
looking
Forth,
at you.
Glenn Scott, and JM Lovejoy. Thanks for those follows, dude.
Liv reaches down and pretends to pick up something on the floor over by Tolgar and says, Emlyn is saying that we should all take a seat. Perhaps we should not sit all at the same table.
not speaking.
Wise
And
no
then
more. Thanks for the follow, my friend.
She goes over to Lilith and
Lilith kid just takes off walking across the bar, goes over by the fire.
Okay. All right. So Lilith, you head. So Tolgar, you're taking a seat.
Yes, my back turned to everyone.
Okay. Liv goes and sits at another table, and Lilith, you head over to the fireplace. Okay, at the fireplace, there is a fairly well-dressed, short-haired gentleman. He has what appears to be like a half-a-whittled pipe in his lap, and a small knife in his left hand. Sitting next to him is a rather kind of short, stunty-looking fellow with kind of corn-colored hair and, again, a huge beard that comes down into 3 braids. His kind of squat nature lets you know that this is, in fact, one of the dwarven race. They're both kind of sitting there by the fire. The dwarf is leaning forward a little bit with his hands towards it and keeps periodically, like he's warming up his hands. Alrighty.
And who? And this person over here that's got their legs crossed.
Oh, this guy? Okay, he's a fairly young guy. He's probably no more than his early 20s, rather slender, little skinny. Again, well-dressed, black riding boots, well-fitted, pants, and kind of like a grey-fitted shirt. Other than that, there doesn't really seem to be anything particularly interesting about the guy, other than the fact that he's sitting on the corner of the fireplace. You also notice, as soon as you're looking at the fire, there's a big, fat, black cat sitting over here in the hearth as well. Alright, meanwhile, Emlyn, finally, a very flustered innkeeper comes roving over and he says, sorry about that, very busy tonight. What can I get you, my friend?
My friends and I just need a room, and maybe room service sent up. Obviously, we'll pay beforehand.
Just the one room?
Yes, please, just the one.
Well, probably just as well tonight. So room service. What can I send up? We got and he kind of points across to the fire pit over here. Got a nice glazed suckling pig going this evening.
Well,
that seems to be very popular.
That with some potatoes or taters, as they say down south.
Oh, I'm sure we can whip up a nice platter of veg if that's what you want.
That sounds great for 4 friends, please.
Not a problem. What about drinks? What can I get you to drink?
Mead, wine, water, anything, really. All of the above.
1 mead, 1 wine, 1 water, 1 ale?
Sure.
There you go.
Thank you.
Not a
Lilith
problem.
is knelt down over here as petting the cat, but she's not really paying much attention to the cat. She's sort of making eyes at this man in the chair here.
Alrighty.
can Liv see the cat?
Probably now for sure that Lilith has reached over and actually started petting it, yeah. Because, I mean, obviously you're probably all kind of glancing at your friends, even if not deliberately, subconsciously.
Is there any way for her to decipher if it's a druid or a cat?
Probably, with it just doing absolutely nothing, no. I mean, it's short of going over there, doing detect magic, trying to talk to it with telepathy or mentally or something like that, probably not.
She just watches the cat and Lilith.
Alrighty. Okay, so Lilith, as you're sitting down there awfully close to this guy, he kind of keeps glancing to the right, nervously. Based on your dress and the position that you're physically in, it's going to be fairly provocative. He's... How do I say this politely? He's probably getting an eyeful right now. So he's sitting there kind of... Initially, he's trying to avoid the gaze. Are you looking at him in any particular way? Are you, like, deliberately looking up at him and smiling or anything like that?
Yes.
Okay.
She's very...
Come on, pause. Thank you for the follow. So he sort of noticeably begins to get a little awkward, and now he's like... starts to act like he's whittling. There's no wood shavings coming off whatsoever. He's just... it's nervous fiddling at this point. He's like, And he just doesn't seem to know where to put his eyes. At this point, the dwarf looks straight at him and says, "It ain't my type, lad, but when something like that comes knocking," he goes, "sometimes it's best to just put a smile on your face and greet it with open arms." With that, he looks even more embarrassed, and now he's gone bright red, because the dwarf has actually pulled attention to it. The dwarf then kind of leans over and looks at you with a big rosy cheeks, probably because he's too close to the damn fire, and he says, "I know it ain't cold outside, lass, but, I have a problem with circulation."
Pity. Quite fond of dwarves.
Alright, with that, he's like, "No offense, you look a little fragile."
Looks can be deceiving.
Okay. The innkeeper comes back over to you, slaps the key down on the table, and says, "Alright, so we're looking at four beverages, 4 meals, 1 room for the night. Let's see, 5. Well, you know what? Just call it a gold, and we'll call it even."
I will put down a gold piece.
All right.
And then a couple silver.
Here you go. I very much appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Okay.
So he hands over a key, right? With a room number, I assume?
Absolutely. He says, "Victoria will bring up your food and beverages in just a few moments. You'll just have to give us a little bit of time. We're a bit overwhelmed this evening."
Oh, by all means, take all the time you need. Thanks again.
Alrighty.
I'm going to turn in my stool, see Lilith crouching, and just say, what's the room number we were given?
You were given room 24, 2nd floor, 4th one down.
Alright, so I'm just going to say room 24, Lilith.
Lilith is gonna stand up with that, pointedly look at the man whittling and say, "Guess you snooze, you lose." And she's gonna walk off with
He kind of
Emlyn
just
like
looks
he
up
just
at you with a...
propositioned her.
and goes back to his whittling. And the dwarf, like, leans back in his chair as you walk away, and you literally hear him go... Okay.
Emlyn's gonna like just smile and have nothing to say as he walks to live.
Right. Emlyn, make a perception check for me, my friend.
I don't want to. I don't want to.
You don't need
No,
to. We can just assume you saw nothing and liked it.
This could be your 20.
It's never a 20. Come on,
It's
that's
Shagget. It's Shagget. If he rolls above a 10, it's a victory. I'm going to start doing that. Every time you roll above a 10, I'm going to just play the victory music. Because that's the only noise you'll ever get.
Perception is a 10.
So, yeah, I mean, passive is a 10. The only thing... Not that she was really paying any attention to you, but the girl that was kind of sitting next to you right here, who didn't just get up off the stool. Okay. She is a little pointy-eared. Not very pointy, but her ears come to a definitive point. There's probably some elf in the woodpile somewhere in her bloodline.
Okay.
But, you know, when you first came over and sat down, she kind of deliberately turned her back away from you. And then as you walked away, she kind of turned the stool back. And you can kind of feel her eyes on your back as you walk away.
Okay, because that Lilith thing probably distracted Emlyn as well, as since he also wanted to get a room, so he probably didn't
Swell
pay
cheese,
much
thanks for the
attention
follow.
to it.
Right. Okay.
I mean, he's
so
just doing. He wants to get into a room into safety.
Aishas,
So.
thank you for the follow. All right, so
Okay.
you make your way over to everybody else. Gerbert, thank you for the follow as well.
Room 24, Liv. And Emlin's just gonna pass to Tolgar and say room 24.
I'm gonna nod without looking up at him.
And then looking this way, I'm gonna ascend the stairs. So this guy, like keeping my face turned away as I walk up the stairs.
Okay, so you're deliberately keeping your face away from where the councilman might possibly see you.
Or anyone might be, yeah.
Okay. All right,
What is the cat doing?
Basically that Lilith has stopped messing with it. It is curled back on the hearth and has lazily gone back to sleep. Licks itself occasionally, and beyond that, it's a very overweight, lazy cat. I mean, living in a tavern, it probably gets all manner of tidbits and leftover food, and there's a nice warm fire for it, so it's doesn't seem to feel any reason to go anywhere but the fireplace.
Oh, is it maybe pregnant and about to have kittens?
I don't know. Do you want to go over and check?
No, but it'd be cute.
But it'd be cute.
Is there another entrance or exit staircase other than the one that's over here?
Not that you can see, no.
Okay. She waits about 15 minutes and then she'll go up the stairs as well.
All right.
But just keeping her down as low as possible and
Same
her
sort
back
of thing,
toward-
making sure that as you ascend the stairs, you're not like overly visible. What about Tolgar?
I wait about half an hour after that and then go up the stairs as well.
All right. As the stairs creak under your impressive weight.
I don't look at anyone,
Everyone looks at you, though.
and I yawn as if I'm tired.
Alrighty. Well, that's the perfect time for us to move for our first break. What's in the bag? I think everyone's excited to know what is in the bag. Okay.
Right? It's gonna be like oats or something.
it's gonna be trapped. It's gonna be spelled. It's gonna be horrible.
It's
gonna be a
some
bag of
romance
ninjas.
novel. A romance novel.
Tiny ninjas.
Tiny ninjas. Okay. So we're
tiefling
going to
and the
go
barbarian.
in order. So initially, Emlyn and Lilith enter the room. You got 15 minutes to do it, guys. Go. Whatever you're going to do.
We're gonna do it. No, we're not gonna do it.
What's the point?
Is that like 15 minutes ahead?
Hey, he's got 3 of them. Just saying. Okay, so yeah. So initially, you go in you make your way into the room. Obviously, it has one bed. But it's a reasonably spacious room.
You only need one bed.
It's comfortable. Tolgar, get out. Tolgar, out. Get out, Tolgar.
Sometimes the table
Put a
is.
sock on the doorknob.
You guys don't know the rules, do you?
Okay.
It takes 3 to party.
So,
That's the
do you
rule.
guys want... You have 15 minutes ahead of Liv coming up, so do you two want to do anything in particular? I'm not trying to be lewd, I'm just saying if there's anything you guys want to do in that 15-minute time frame.
So how you doing? No,
Hi, please
How
die.
you
Thank you for the
doing?
follow. Abyss Run, thank you for the follow.
I'm just
Thank
gonna
you.
take out his book and start to read.
Kexmus Maximus. Oh, Kexmus Maximus, thank you for the follow. There you go. Okay, so you just sit down and read. How rude. Bloody tieflings, no manners.
Little, what you reading?
You're gonna. So for the first time, Emlyn's gonna slide part of the book in your direction. Not like all the way over, obviously, but just a little bit off center him.
Alright, let me give you a book.
Lilith is
Why
gonna
do-
Because
appear.
I'm nice like that.
Why don't you? Maybe you can decipher something. I'm not expecting you to, but considering what has happened to you.
Okay,
Maybe.
Gore.
There you go. All right.
Creepy
So
ass book.
basically, yeah, he kind of like now at first glance, it's a bunch of weird symbols. It's a bunch of weird lines and shapes. There's definitely some writing there, but it ain't no language you've ever seen before. In fact, it doesn't even really look like any normal written language. It seems to be more made up of symbols than anything else.
I don't catch a word of it.
Well,
Those are words, right?
more like gestures, more like suggestions.
It's a tiefling
You see
joke
here,
book.
I'm going to turn it to an earlier page.
Uh-huh.
Here, I thought it was, about moonlight and crazy animals and animorphs and stuff. But then when you pair it with this
The Tortured
page,
Earth rule
and I'm
book?
gonna flip it to another page, it actually has to do with hand gestures for when I cast some of my spells to get a little bit more oomph out of them. But see,
So you go from animorphs and moons to hand gestures?
well, it's not always what I just said. It's always something different.
A changing book. Interesting.
Kind of. The more I study it, the more I feel attached to it, the more it reveals to me.
A
Hence why-
living book.
Yes, this is the only, for lack of a better word, God I need.
To each their own.
Yes,
Can't
these-
say that Malcontent would be very accepting of you anyway, so...
I know, me with my parts.
Yes, she's not very fond of parts.
I know, what a tragic shame. Nature, the balance of nature and all that. I'm a little bit more removed from triviality that comes with this world. What I'm being taught here, I'm trying to learn, but don't get me wrong, I don't know the half of it. It's a little bit more beyond, if you will.
Oh yes, carries on afterlife. I can understand that. After this life.
And the candles
such
catch your
an
book on fire and you
unusual
cry yourself to sleep.
I do my ritual, I resummon it. Nice try, Gore.
Okay. All right, so you're pretty much just giving her a little bit of an insight into the book, and she's getting really nothing from it. But hey, at least you're learning to share. All
She
right.
may not be getting anything from the book, but she's kind of Lilith is kind of understanding a little bit more that Emmeline's not so different than she is, just about different things.
Alrighty. You hear the door kind of crack open.
Liv places her hand on the door and looks in. She sees a purple stain, and she recalls the last time that she was in this room. And it was when her ex-husband got violent with her and threw a glass of wine at her, and it missed her ever so slightly. And she has a tear running down her cheek, and she's starting to shake and get a little angry at it. She walks towards you guys.
Liv, sit down. We decided to wait until we open all.
Naughty Auntie,
goodies.
thank you for the follow. Kimi, thank you for the follow.
No need to, cry. I'll just put the book away. I know it's
Thank you
weird.
for the follow.
Olivia, dear,
Strange.
are you alright?
I just rather not be
Toxic
here.
Commando,
Ugh.
thank you for the follow.
Yes.
There's a lot
It is
of
quite a humble little inn.
there's a lot of bad
Lilith is
memories
completely
here.
missing the point.
All the more to motivate you to cause some blood to fall. The good stuff.
There's hoops on the side table.
Yes, as much as that man downstairs, he was fun to play with, but I need something. I need I need stronger emotions. I need something bigger.
You need colder.
Stronger emotions and something bigger.
Well, make Emlyn cry and call Tolgar in the room. You've got both those things are solved.
That's what she said.
Yeah, you wishing to inflict pain and suffering.
Wanting to change topics.
Well, those are just some of the strongest emotions one can elicit. It doesn't necessarily have to be pain and suffering.
Liv cocks her head. Oh? Did you guys have a chance to look through the bag yet?
As I was saying, we were waiting for the rest of you. Just to... It becomes more palpable, to wait. To not just go for instant gratification. I'm gonna give Lilith look, yeah, I said that.
He's not wrong, Olivia dear. Sometimes the anticipation is the best part.
Did I miss
Quiver
something?
with anticipation.
She looks between the two of you.
Okay, from my perspective, I don't know where she's coming from fully. I understand a little bit better. When you get your revenge, we're here for revenge, right? Correct.
Toxic Amano,
ladies?
thanks for the follow, bud.
Maybe draw it out. Maybe try for more fun first, if you get my meaning. Don't just go straight for the kill.
And here I thought you were talking about sexual innuendos.
Maybe I am.
Yes, I do think that perhaps drawing things out would be more fun. And she looks at the purple stain.
Which is right here. You see it?
I see it. Thanks, Core.
Telling you that grape Kool-Aid is a pain in the ass to get out of a carpet.
Kool-Aid Man's about to burst through the wall.
That's it.
Oh, you guys are much more fun than I originally thought.
Another 15 minutes later, you hear the thump, thump, thump coming up the hallway as the subtle one opens the door and bulldozes in.
I'm gonna walk in, stare at them briefly, and walk straight to the bed and sit down on the edge and look at them.
It's not a party until Tolgar gets here.
So what's going on?
Rifling through Midgard's belongings. I'm gonna look at Lilith. Emlyn's looking at Lilith.
Alrighty.
And what do we have?
Lilith, how do you want to handle this? So you basically have pretty much what you snatched off was a double saddlebag. Each saddlebag is about yay big around. Obviously, there's a strap in the middle, so it's two separate compartments.
Okay, so she spreads it out on the table.
All right, so you lay the saddlebag.
Which side first?
Who cares? Open one.
You have no sense of wonder, Tolgar. She opens one up.
All right. Okay. So you kind of pop the lid and pull the flap back. You want to just kind of reach in and rake everything out, or?
Oh no, that's too mundane. She's gonna take a bit out at a time. Sort of reach in like it's a grab bag, pull something out.
Okay. It's a Pidgey. No, and the other one is a rat attack, because that's all you're ever going to get. No,
knew it.
Fucking knew it. Okay, so you reach in. The first thing you pull out, as you're kind of reaching in, the first thing that your hand automatically kind of gravitates to is something kind of like leathery and lumpy, and you pull that out first. It appears to be a somewhat full purse. It has a note actually attached to it.
Oh god. Okay, Lilith is gonna read it before it explodes because it's an exploding
The note
tag.
isn't actually something you can read. It's a series of tally marks. Basically, there is 5 columns. And then there are tally marks in each column. The first one basically is got 7 marks in it. And then the next one has 3. The next one has 4. Then 2. then 5, and then 1.
Ooh.
What that possibly could mean, who knows?
Insight check.
Right? Go for it.
Yes. Oh God, where am I?
Ooh.
Business! What does that mean?
Natural 20!
Nothing, but she gets on the.
Right. I rolled a 20 and it's 21.
Well, you know what that means? Duncan and Killer got some gold. Ye of little faith. There you go. All right, and that gets you on the board. Now, I'm going to be absolutely honest. I really wasn't going to tell you jack unless you got a really good roll, because what the hell? But, so, here's the thing, right? With it being associated with the money purse, you kind of look at it, and you get this bizarre, maybe this is something to do with earned shares or something like that. Maybe it's something to do with the monetary payout. Maybe this, whatever's in this purse, maybe each tally mark represents some kind of share. And there's 5 separate marks, and there were 5 bounty hunters.
Okay, so I share this information with the rest of the table.
Is the tallies with the less people for the short person, the dwarf, or is that arbitrary? The 5, the tall rapier dude.
She's gonna hold it up to Hamlin. I don't know, just that mark looks a little shorter than the others.
That one looks a little dwarvish. Look, it's got a beard.
Hey, I've been staring at notes and weird symbols all day. Sorry.
The
actually a
purse
cipher.
itself
You can line it
is,
up
I mean, the purse itself, like in your hand, it fills your hand like very well. It's like, shh, and it sits about yay tall, and, you know, it's very heavy.
Alright, so she's gonna open it up and dump it out on the table.
All right,
How?
gold and platinum scatters across the floor. Half of it rolls off the table and onto the carpet. It was a significant amount of money. How much? You'll actually have to pick it up and count it, but quite a lot.
Emmeline's gonna start counting.
Oh,
to
Mommy
two.
gets a new pair of shoes!
Emmeline's just gonna pick up 200 gold pieces worth, or platinum worth. And
Okay.
he's just gonna say, this will be for the good of the party, I promise. And he's gonna pocket it.
Emlyn, in this party we share all of our ideas.
I need a few components that'll help me with a few of my spells, so we can stay one step ahead of the bounty hunters. And as he says that, he's going to take another platinum piece.
All right. Okay, well,
How will it
Emmeline's
help
put a
us?
dent in it, but not that big a dent.
Really?
Okay, so,
Yes.
divide up the rest.
So you're going to divide the rest equally, or sans Emlyn?
Sans Emlyn, I guess.
Wow,
I
Barbarian
love
is
this
gold
start.
thirsty.
Stop.
Who would have thought?
All
The
right.
Barbarian gives a shit. No.
So you want to share the rest equally, even though he's already pocketed 210 gold. Is that what I'm saying? Is that what
I
you're
mean,
saying?
without him involved.
Oh, I see.
Oh, okay. So
Like, share the rest between the 3 of us.
all right. In that case, so here's the deal. It was about 1,200 gold. Emlyn pocketed 1,210.
I did 210.
Sorry, 210. Well, yeah, obviously, if it's 1,200, he could have hardly...
Like, what?
Somehow he stole an extra 10. No, 210. So basically, there's 990 gold to split between 3, if that is what you guys are doing.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Emlyn doesn't do anything. He doesn't care. He watches
So,
TV.
so yeah,
That's whatever
do
starts to her,
do
so-
your math. 990 gold divided by
Nine.
3.
Oh.
So what's that?
Yep.
Basically, that's what 333 gold
That's
apiece.
really, yeah, it's easier. Okay.
333 gold apiece. So Tolgar, Liv, and Lilith, you are now 333 gold richer.
Yay, I can buy more hootses when they
All
die.
from a well-placed snatch from Lilith. But that's only the first thing that you've pulled out.
Oh.
Okay, so is that pouch completely empty?
The money
or is there
purses.
more-
No,
Well,
there's
I
more
meant
stuff still in
saddlebag.
the saddlebag. Absolutely.
Alright, let's reach in and see what else we got.
All right, you pull out a small wooden frame. On that wooden frame are on one side. Each side has got 6 little slots in it. On one side there are 4 short, very short crossbow bolts. On the other side there are 6. If you do recall, he actually had a wrist crossbow that he fired at you guys.
Oh.
So this is his ammunition for his little tinker toy.
I'm not fond of these things. Does anyone else know how to use this?
Each one of them is about probably
I'm going
about
to
10
walk
inches
over.
long.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk over and pick up one and say, I'm gonna
Toothpick.
shove this. I'm gonna use this to shove it up his ass when I see him next. And sit back down. Thank you.
You're really obsessed with asses, aren't you? Like defecating and stuffing things going in or out of people's asses. It's not Tolgar's thing. Okay.
I'm not one to judge how you get your jollies.
Right? Hey,
She's
Lilith's
reaching
probably-
back into the bag.
Maybe I'm
All
trying
right.
to say something.
You reach back into the bag. You pull out what appears to be it's kind of like a belt. It's a fairly fine belt, and it has 6 incredibly sharp throwing knives positioned on each side of the belt. So there's 3 here and 3 here. So if you was to put it on, you'd have 3 to your left hip and 3 to your right hip.
I don't think Lilith can use any of that.
Anyone proficient with throwing daggers?
Not really.
If not, they cut a good steak.
We can sell them.
Yeah, we can
Happens
sell
to take
All
them
right.
and put them aside.
That's
on the
everything
table.
that's in this side.
Are they
Alright,
common wood dagger, or are they common daggers, or do they have some sort of emblems on them?
No, they're well made, and they're
Emblems
well made,
faces,
and they're incredibly well balanced. But they're just decent throwing daggers. You know, somebody that made them knew how to make them. They're very well balanced. They probably throw great. So,
I'll take the daggers.
okay. So 6 throwing daggers on a belt if you want it.
Yeah.
All right. So that exhausts the left-hand side pouch.
Alright, we're going to the right side.
Okie dokie. Upon opening the right side, the first thing you pull out is not particularly interesting. It's a cloth. As you open it up, there's some salted pork. There are 2 apples. And there is what probably looks like some kind of sausage. Like salami or something like that. I know that that's really... It's like telling you that right now is like a terrible thing, but that's what he had, okay? That's nothing to do with your current frame of mind.
So Lilith
He
is going
also-
to take an apple. She's going to take a bite out of it and just kind of toss the rest of it to Tolgar.
Okay.
I
All right.
catch it.
Okie
Thank you.
dokie. There is also, however, 2 other pieces of wrapped cloth. Seem to be wrapped around some kind of bottle. All right, let me look here. We're getting a few follows coming in. So, Blasto is da killer. 7 of Giro, C260, Disco Fountain, the infamous Prodigy, and Jill Barr. Thank you for those follows,
Thank you guys.
Okay. So you pull it out, and it's 2. Each one, they're fairly small. They're not like vials, like water flasks or anything like that. They are fairly small glass bottles. Each one is probably no bigger than maybe 5 to 6 inches tall. This is from what you can feel through the cloth at this point.
Okay, so she's gonna slowly undo the cloth.
All right, you fold it back. All right. Basically, they are 2 small vials.
Could
They have glass stoppers, but somebody melted wax all the way around the top of the stopper, so they are actually sealed. Of
Are they
course,
cork
once you open
stoppers?
them once, that's it. There's no way to...
Just the glass stoppers.
Yeah. So think of like a
Glass
glass bottle with a glass stopper lid, but somebody has actually melted wax around them so that they are fairly safe to stay sealed. Because obviously a glass stopper inside a glass bottle, you throw that in a typical backpack, it's going to come open and stuff.
She's gonna hold them up.
Okay.
Can
one of
anybody
them-
guess what's in these?
Well,
I can try to guess what they are. And we do have wax from candles to reseal them, correct?
You have a candelabra right here on the table. Absolutely.
Wow, how
Well,
convenient.
look at that. Would you
Well,
look at
look
it?
at that. Indeed.
Let's see. What kind of check would you like, Cor?
What are you trying to do?
Decipher what's
are you-
inside.
Yeah, are you gonna
Smell by
unseal them?
sense.
Well, the first thing you can do is, I mean, obviously it's liquid. So you can taste them, you can smell them. Really depends on what it is you're going to do in order to try to figure out what this is.
Think twice before you taste them, dear. You never know what you're putting your mouth on.
Well noted. She holds the glass up to the light and shakes it a little bit. Does it do anything?
Nope, not really. I mean, it swirls around, but it's almost filled to the very top. So there's very little space between the top of the liquid and the actual stopper.
Okay, she closes her eyes and concentrates, and she casts guidance on herself.
Okay. I'll get back to that.
And
All right. So with guidance, you have inferred a 2-point bonus on anything you should roll.
okay. And what kind of check would you like? She's going to
Depends what you're doing.
uncork it,
Okay.
and then she's going to smell it.
All right. Let's see. You could probably start with maybe a medicine check to see if you think it's any kind of curative stuff. It doesn't smell of anything medicinal that you're familiar with.
Okay. Is there... Oh, there is a piece of paper. Hey, Emlyn, can you tear a piece off your book? Kidding. Is there any paper in here, or do we have, like, a parchment on us?
Lilith hands over the small note that had the tally mark.
You've got a note which is about the size of a post-it note.
She dips it into the concoction, and then she examines the color.
Okay. Seems to be slightly bluish to color.
Does that ring
This is
any bells?
in the first one.
Okay. Does that ring any bells for her as far as what it could be?
Not off the top of your head with it just being blue, no. But that's just by looks. And you can smell
She
it,
shows
you
it
can
to-
you can always, if you wish, it's up
Nope.
to you.
The paper didn't burn or sizzle or anything else?
No.
Okay. And she holds it up to Lilith and Emlyn. Have you ever seen this before? This kind of liquid?
It's lube. No,
It's lube. Hunt Fear, thanks for the follow, dude.
History check? See if I've seen it before? I mean, blue potion?
Blue liquid.
Blue liquid? I mean,
Could be.
Hey, could be Pan.
in a
Alchemy
vial
stuff?
like that? I mean, would that be okay, Gore? I mean,
could be
kind of a
medicine
hard-
for
it's
insight
a-
or-
I mean, it's a
really
glass
good, right?
container and it's a blue liquid.
yeah, that doesn't really help, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, it could be a cocktail, like orange, blue orangey cocktail stuff, blue curacao, whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure he carries that around with him.
Hey, maybe he's got
Legit.
a fetish for that stuff.
Okay.
Let's dip something sharp in it and let me stab you with it.
How about part of what we do is we find the alchemist in town and he can tell us what these items are. while I can go looking for the items that I need for the benefit of the party. And I'm going to look at Tolgar kind of like, you bastard for not believing me, since I only took half, like not even half the gold. That's what Emlyn does.
Okay.
I ignore him, obviously.
You should ignore him.
Is there a lot of wax on it? Like it's been re-sealed several times, or no?
It's very neat, so you don't think it was probably sealed and has not been opened since.
Okay, so, all right. I was gonna examine the arrowheads and the daggers to see if perhaps there was blue substance trace on that. But okay.
Well, I mean, you can look.
I'll just look because why not?
Okay.
Should I roll or just look at it?
Make a perception check. All right. You are fairly convinced, and this stuff is fairly it's a little sticky, and either this guy was painstakingly vigilant in cleaning it off, or this stuff was never applied to any of these bolts or the daggers.
Okay. Hell if I know. Let's recork it, and like you said, we'll take it to the alchemist. Or here, Emlyn, and she gives them both to you to take to the alchemist. I'm not gonna go out, probably.
Sure. So I'm gonna take both of them.
Okay. So you're gonna.
Unless you would like company in a cat form, or perhaps a wolf form. Would they look? And in this area, would they look at you weird if you had a wolf?
Like a wild wolf?
More like a dire wolf. Think Jon Snow.
A dire wolf, they might.
No,
A
I
wolf,
wanna be
maybe not.
Look, the less, startling, the better is fine with me. I don't really care.
Do you want company?
I don't care. If you want to join me, you can.
Okay. In that case, she strips down naked and she.
Wait, is that everything?
Are we leaving?
Yes, that's everything in the bag.
That's everything in the bag?
Yep.
Shotgun.
In that case, she strips down naked. Wait! Was there anything else in the bag?
Okay, so her purple mark that appears on her when she turns into a cat, where is that located?
Probably, because it's on your head, so it's probably going to be a purple flick across the top of the cat's head.
Would you like to tie a bow on top of her head to cover it?
Emlyn's not doing anything to the cat. He doesn't care.
A bow on the cat's head?
I'm
I'm
not
asking
putting
you
a bow
before
on the cat.
she changes into a cat.
You want to go ahead?
It's up to you guys. I mean, I'm going to suggest that we tie a bow on top of her head. So she's going to just rip off a piece of fabric and give it to Lilith to tie a piece of bow on her head.
Okay.
Okay? And then
She
she
fluffs it up into a pretty little cat bow.
Would you mind carrying my bag, or should I leave it here?
Oh, Lilith will take the bag.
Are you going with us, Lilith? Only because my druid focuses with it.
Of course.
Okay.
Tolgar.
There's so many places to go. Why would a lady like me stay stuffed up in a room alone?
Are you gonna be joining us, Tolgar?
Yes.
Jed, thanks for the follow.
You don't sound
Alright.
too enthused about it.
I'm not too
Mosh
enthused about
pit,
it.
thank you for the follow.
Where do you think your councilman would be? No idea, huh?
I don't have a clue, but I will search every corner of this forsaken place until I
Where
kill
was the
him.
last place that you saw him? I mean, other than the court. Where did you have the fight at, I guess?
Not in this city.
Okay.
So, do you have any more information other than he has a stupid mustache? Many men have stupid mustaches, dear.
He had a son who also had a mustache like their.
Okay, can Liv recall history
Ugh.
as to if she knows who that councilman is, and she probably knows all of them?
I don't know how old the son would be. Probably
Well,
20s? I don't know.
being that she is describing him as having a stupid mustache.
And a son with an equally as stupid mustache.
So it eliminates some people.
Well, here's the thing. Your
9 of them,
ex-husband,
right?
Roberto Mesenthal, he had a mustache. You remember that, of course.
But he didn't have a son, did he?
Who the knows? in
Unless I had a
theory,
son.
no. In theory, no. And then there was one other council member who was about 5'6", middle-aged, who had short, dark hair, who also had a mustache.
And a son?
He did have a son. Yes.
With a stupid mustache.
I can't wait.
You don't
Artist
recall
in
if he had a
chat.
stupid mustache, because you
Stupid
don't really remember
mustaches.
much about his son, but you do know he did have a son who was probably 18, 19 years old.
Okay.
Okay, I relay the information. 18, 19-year-old son, does that sound correct?
His name is... You would know his name.
He
His
also
name
had a
is
mustache,
Alec
so he was
Crowell.
They had matching mustaches.
What was
No,
the name?
wait.
No, the son you don't know anything about, really. You know he had a son, but you don't really recall much about him. On the other hand, Alec Crowell is the only other council member that you remember that pretty much wore just a mustache. Short, dark
man.
hair, was about 5'6", mid-30s.
5'6",
Yep.
30s.
So if Lilith sold information in this town frequently, in the underbelly of the town, she could potentially, if she can find one of her contacts, it's just what she's going to relate. Could potentially talk to one of my contacts about finding your stupid mustachioed man, Tolgar.
Well, I believe his name could possibly be Alex Crowley.
Alec Crowell.
Alec Crow.
Yeah,
Crowley.
Alec Crowell.
He's a demon.
Alistair Crowley? No, Alec
How
Crowell.
sure are you of this?
I'm not sure, but in the back of my mind, that is who that description fits. But it could be somebody else. It's something to go on.
Indeed.
Crowd.
I just want you to realize it's probably not in our best interest to immediately pursue one of these guys you seek retribution on. The politics of
not.
this place is a little, extreme. So Tolgar, I know you want to bash faces, and by the look of it, you want to kill me right now. But let's keep those emotions at bay, just for a little bit.
I have no emotions.
Well,
Right.
that's why we go
Tolgar's so
underground
wrong.
for information.
Wrong.
Once we get the information, then we can come up with a plan.
A good plan. Hopefully that doesn't, fail.
At this point, you hear a definitive sound coming outside the window. You literally heard something, what sounded like something hard tap against the window, but not like a deliberate, like, more like a
Can I?
like something slid across the window. Being the fact that you're on the
try to-
second floor, that seems a little odd.
Can I try to perceive what it was without just by hearing it?
Probably not.
Or is it too? Yeah, too.
It was too
generic?
vague.
Alright.
It was just
Yeah,
something
little-
hit the window, but it was something very kind of,
Can Liv close her eyes and concentrate on Mr. Hoots to see what that might have been?
Mr. Hoots is right there in the room.
Oh, I didn't know I had Hoots on my shoulder. For real?
Unless you specifically tell me that Hoots is elsewhere, I assume he is with you.
Lilith is going to whip out the rapier, and she's going to hustle over to the window and toss it open with the rapier in her hand.
Shitty.
Hold on a second. All right.
So conspicuous.
All right. Let me thank the horde of new people just hitting us up right now. Alrighty. So let's see. Lycum, Sylvan Kid, Blacktop Dart, Newt Socks, Black Sabbath,
Ooh.
And Deniseth,
Sylvia.
thank you for hitting that follow button, my friends.
Nice.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. So Lilith, you run over to the window, you said? And what are you doing?
She tosses the window open with the rapier at the ready.
There's wooden
just in
shutters
case.
on your side first, so you can, like, yank those open. Which is why you couldn't see what the noise was, otherwise I'd have
Oh,
physically...
I see.
Yeah, so you kind of, like, pull the shutters open.
Okay,
you're-
well, she's not going to stand right in front of it when she does that. She's going to stand off to the side. She don't want
Okay.
to get hit in the face with something.
All right.
Even though she's probably pretty used to getting hit in the face.
So you sidestep the window, reach round, and pull the two shutters open. All right. When you do so, you literally see what appears to be a young woman perched on your windowsill. There's no attempt to hide herself. There's no sudden scurry. No attempt to get away, basically. She's sitting there, like... The windowsill is probably no more than about half a foot wide, and she is perched very delicately on the top of it. Emlyn.
Yep, it's that girl, isn't
It's
it?
the chick from downstairs in the bar. She's got like a... she has long, flowing, straight black hair. She's very diminutive. She's probably about 5 foot... Maybe pushing 5'1". Slightly pointy ears. Her clothing, basically, is almost... I hate to say it, but it's kind of 80s style. It's like it's attached to one shoulder, and it comes right across the center. And she has nothing on her right arm. That is exposed, so it's kind of like a slanty shirt. And she is kind of sitting there, and it appears that possibly her weapon sheath or something like that might have just tapped against the window, or somehow she bumped into it and made a noise. But she doesn't attempt to hide herself. She literally just, as you open the shutter, she's like,
Well, darling, I suggest you identify yourself and quick before you end up with a rapier in the eye.
okay. She says, may I? To indicate, can I come in the room?
Sure. Good.
I need to go ahead and...
no.
Why not? Oh,
You're not coming in until you identify yourself. You're lucky I don't kill you where you are now.
She says, I understand that, but if I did tell you if I told you my name, would it matter? If I told you who I was from the window ledge, would it make any difference whatsoever?
Well, I guess there's no arguing with that logic.
She said, of course, it's much more likely that perched here on the window ledge so precariously, I might fall to my death and then you'll never find out. But if you wouldn't mind just letting me pop inside, we could have a chat.
Lilith is going to step back and she's just going to say, okay, but one suspicious movement and consider yourself. Come on.
All right, she crawls through the window, steps inside, and she says, trust me, I understand the company that I'm in. I wouldn't dream of upsetting any of you.
Out of curiosity, did I strip already?
You said you did, so I'm assuming you did.
She just comes in, Lilith is just standing there butt naked.
She says, so, I could lie and say I didn't hear all of that, but I actually did. I heard every single word.
that doesn't surprise me.
Sit down.
Talking.
She says, so exactly what beef do you have with Alex Crowell and his son?
They have really stupid mustaches.
Oh, I know, right? No, she looks at you. As she's saying this, she's incredibly bright. She's got, like, bright green eyes that are very, like, wide open. And she seems
What is it to you?
entirely
I would
enthusiastic.
wait.
Noticing her eyes, Lilith is gonna kind of smile to herself.
The crowning, Conjack's Gut Beater, Nipples Morango, and Explain. Thank you for those follows, my friends. Alrighty, so she's kind of like, with her little slightly pointed ears.
This is fun. Emlyn's gonna lean back in his chair a little bit and just watch.
I said, why do you want to know?
well...
Lilith is gonna shut the windows, the
Okay.
shutters.
As soon as you do that, she kind of like, oh, sorry, and moves away from the windows so that you can close them. And she sits her butt on the edge of the table. Like, hops herself up. And her feet don't touch the floor. I mean, she, as I said, she's only barely 5 foot tall. She says, well, I move in certain circles, and it's really difficult not to find a description of someone so damn big and so obvious and so clearly, well, one of those people. And she kind of looks at Tolgar. I know, I babble. I babble. I understand. But you see, I know things. I know things, and that's what I do. I know things. And I know people.
So,
I like
with
her
your knowledge, what do you do with all this knowledge in your tiny head?
Well, she obviously walks on rooftops and listens in.
See, well, you see, when you first came in, it was very weird because you all came in together and then you all attempted to split up, which I found really, really suspicious. and I paid attention, and you went to one table and you went to another table and you came over and you ordered a drink, and then you ordered a room for 4 people, so I knew you were all together. And I thought, why would 4 people come into a tavern, all be together, but actually try not to appear to be together? And then I remembered something. I remembered reading something about the trial where young Jonathan Crowell was almost murdered by this huge, brutish barbarian. No offense. And his dad went crazy, and apparently there was this stuff, and he tried to kill 3 different people. And in the end, I remember something that, with a ship that you were supposed to have been on went down, and you were presumed dead. But then
The smile disappears from Lilith's face.
She said, but then somebody said you weren't dead. And I'm assuming all of you... I know I shouldn't assume, it gets me into trouble all the time. I really shouldn't assume anything, but you have horns. And the truth is, I seem to remember something about reading... Well, in the book in the public records that you can look at any time you want, it just so happens that I took it and read it myself in my own privacy of my own home. But at the end of the day, I remember reading something about a person that had horns, and you stole something from Porthan de Win. He was a really important wizard, and you went into his house and you stole something from him, and he got really, really mad and really, really upset. And then he made sure that you really did some bad things, and he got you taken care of, and you were going on the ship as well. And then, well, honestly, I don't remember everything, but it all seemed to add up.
You know quite a lot.
No, as I said,
You
I
know
tend...
too much.
Oh,
I listen to things, and I talk to people, and I remember stuff.
I'm coming in from behind her and attempting to kind of hold on to her so she can't leave.
Well, as you kind of walk over, I mean, you're not that subtle, so she just like looks at you as you, with her big bushy eyes, and you know, kind of looks at you as you walk over and lay one hand on her. And she says, oh my god, you are so much bigger than the stories.
Okay, at that point I'll pick her up and drag her to this chair and sit her in it.
Alright. She weighs about 105 pounds, if that. So you're like, pfft, okay. So,
I'll take out my rope and tie her up.
okay, if you as you start doing that, she goes, oh come on, is this necessary? This is
It's
really,
just
really...
precaution.
Oh, you're so... Like, I'm going to do anything to you. You need to tie me up. She said, like, what am I going to do? What am I possibly going to do to you? Are you scared?
Don't care.
Information is dangerous, dear, and you seem to have a lot of it. Why do you approach us?
Well...
You know the stories. Why do you want to approach us?
Well, I don't know the stories. I only know... I just...
Or whoever you think we are.
Well, who at least 2 of you are. I don't know names. But, well, when I heard you mention Alec Crowell outside and his son Jonathan Crowell, and, well, I know people that know other things. Important things that might interest you.
About him and his son.
Oh, for sure, yes.
I look way more interested now.
She says, but
And you don't know this information yourself.
I know some things. But
Tell me.
I know little compared to other people. And Well, let's just say some things in this city aren't the way they used to be. And there are a few people that think that that's... Well, have you ever heard the word conspiracy theory?
No.
Oh God.
Do tell.
Well,
I love a good story.
some people think that the council's been infiltrated by demons, and they've possessed half of the council. I know. Other people I've heard say that half of the council are nothing more than doppelgangers being controlled by some wicked cult from the north. They say that there's a purple cult ruling the Tri-Crown Mountains, and that they deliberately spread some rumours that they had been destroyed because they were very cunning and very, very, very clever. And they told everybody that they spread rumours that the great heroes destroyed the cult, but the truth is they didn't destroy the cult, and it was just a rumour from the cult, and the cult did it to hide their own, presence. And the fact is they're still out there, and that they have replaced half the council members with doppelgangers.
Can I do a history check? Because having been in this area,
Sure,
some of those stories probably...
do it.
Alright. Yay!
Yay, there's my 10!
I mean, you do remember history. There was, a couple of years ago, that there was a vile cult that was trying to bring about the resurrection of a dead, chaos-related goddess. And they were defeated by a small band of heroes. And legend says that they were basically stopped and decimated in the Tri-Crown Mountains. History says that they were defeated.
So I'm just gonna look at her and say, I hate to burst that little bubble, but I'm pretty sure they were all killed.
And that's the point. They want you to think that. That was the whole thing. They wanted everybody to think that. I mean, they were very smart people, from what we understand. And if we all thought they would... Now, I'm not saying I believe that. I'm just telling you that that's one of the theories.
What does this have to do with Alec?
Well, he's one of the council members. So potentially he's a demon or a doppelganger.
I don't care about these conspiracy theories. I just want to know facts.
Well,
Where he lives, where I can find him, where I can kill him.
Well, where he lives, I can show you. That's fairly common knowledge. But don't take this the wrong way, my really big muscly friend. But as big and strong as you are, if you try to kill a council member, I don't fancy your chances of seeing the following morning.
You clearly don't know me.
What is
No,
your
but
name?
I do know the council. And I do know, since the war, that all of them have, well, they're very well guarded and very well protected.
Well, this is why you're going to go out for us and find out how many guards are around his house.
No, I can tell you that
Tolgar.
without going out. But that's not going to help you. You're not listening to me.
What is your name?
Wait, we almost... Sorry, Miss. Tolgar.
Yes.
You need to start thinking larger scale. Look, I know about
Yes.
your tribe and the war to the east. I get it. But we need to be careful with this. We can't just go after one council member. We almost lost our lives in Candlewind.
So we go after all council members. I like this. It's not a bad idea. Kill all of them. Ruin the entire city.
No, don't ruin the city. There's nothing. The city hasn't done anything wrong. There's a lot of innocent people that live in the city. The problem isn't the city. The problem's the council, or some of them.
Do you know by... what is your name, dear?
Yes. Well, I go by Anna Lockhart.
Anna Lockhart. And other than keeping secrets and gathering information, what else do you do?
Fat Brownies, thanks for hitting the sub button, my friend. Appreciate it, dude.
Man,
Fat brownies. Yay.
Well, you see, I don't really do anything except that because, quite honestly, it's the most lucrative thing I've ever done.
And who was the other person that you said that you might know?
Didn't say I might know anybody. I said I do know some people.
Who was that person?
Well, I'd have to take you there, wouldn't I?
No. You said you recognized two of us.
No.
Who was
I
it?
recognize two of you, yes. Him with the horns and him with the muscles.
I see. Very well.
You've yet to tell us why you approached us.
Well, isn't it obvious?
For information.
I can help you.
No. Why?
Well, you know that sound that went cha-ching, cling, 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 and it sounded awfully lot like an awful lot of money got spilled out across the table and onto the floor. I know
I'm
the
sorry,
sound of
but
money
we
when I
don't
hear
deal
it.
with people who make money by trading secrets.
Oh, okay then. Well, if you'll just let me go, I'll just
Wait.
make my way off and I won't let my friend know that you're still here. And the person that I told, if I don't come out in the next 20 minutes, you should run to the council and let them know that there are criminals here in the town.
Anna, wait.
We'll go ahead and do
Can I
that.
try
No,
an
it's fine.
insight check to see if she's trying to like bluff?
I don't care if she's bluffing or not. We should kill her.
I really
Anna,
wanna
wait.
Oh my
guys,
kill her.
wait. Wait.
kill her.
If she's threatening to go tell the council.
It's entirely possible that she is. But it is also possible that she is not. I mean, from the information you have, there's no way to ascertain that.
Okay.
It would be a smart thing for her to do to save her skin to say something like that, but of course it could be true.
So what's your trade, girl?
I don't care about
Money?
her trade. I need to know one thing, Anna. And it is about a council member. Roberto Messenthal.
What about him?
His child. You know,
Child? Don't know anything about any children. He was married for a while, but I don't think he ever had any children.
Uh-oh.
Not that I recall, anyway.
Emily's gonna get up and remove the ropes while Liv is talking to her.
Okay.
Liv's face drops and she walks over to the corner by the bed.
Right. She jumps up and sits on the table, kind of like between the two chairs, and looks with a big tooth, a big kind of a perfect teeth, like a perfect tooth grin at Emlyn. She says, "I knew I liked you."
I am amazing.
She says,
Well,
"Well,
Emmons a smile.
it's really this simple. I do things that some people would consider questionable. You have all done things that everybody would consider questionable. You can trust me, or not. It's really up to you. I just want to make a little bit of money, and I see an opportunity, because that's what I do, of how I might be able to leverage information on your behalf. I'm pretty sure you probably don't have a lot of friends in this city. If you want to make an enemy out of me, that's up to you, but I would recommend you don't."
I'm gonna pull out a blank piece of parchment and a quill, and I'm gonna say, write down everything you can tell us and how much you want, and perhaps we can strike a deal.
Alrighty, well, with that, let's go to our next break. So, yeah, you've untied her. She's sitting up on the table. So she said, "Yeah, as I said,
Okay.
I'm betting you don't have many friends in the city, and the truth is, I've got no reason to sell you out, especially if you're lucrative."
Yeah. At that point, I'll hand her the blank parchment and quill and say, write down what you promise us and what you want.
I never learned to read or write, I'm afraid. I can tell you, though.
Tell me.
Rainwater, thanks for follow. Well, what I can do is take you to somebody that probably can answer an awful lot of questions and might be able to help you. What I
Togar.
want is a reasonable amount of money that is fair compensation for such.
Togar,
Well,
are you making a contract?
Of course.
Who is to enforce this contract? We can't go to the law here.
My axe.
Well, the Cuthbertians, the Cuthbertines.
Oh,
What the hell
well.
is it?
Well, what do you don't need a contract for that.
See, I know things about that too.
I like having things on paper. It's very important to me. Also, can you guarantee this person will tell us the information?
No.
I stop
That's-
writing. I put the quill down and look up at her.
What I'm going to
What's
charge
the
you
point of
for
this?
is to make an introduction to somebody that you need probably to talk to. You'll then have to make a arrangement with them.
Liv would like to make a wisdom check to see if she can figure out how truthful this person is being, whether it really is in the party's best interest or if it's a trap.
Okay, well, you can make an insight check, same way Tolgar did. I mean, this is a gut thing. This is really, you guys are going to have to go with your gut. Because you've got nothing to go on about her. You don't know who she is, where she comes from. Is she telling the truth? Is she going to sell you up the river? This isn't really something that without magical aid, you have any way to kind of figure it out. Because you don't know anything about her. You don't know her back history. You don't know her history or past or anything like that.
What recognizable things does she have on her?
Well, other than the fact that she is wearing, as I said, kind of like a dark grey tunic that only comes, it's kind of like covers one arm, but doesn't cover the other arm at all. It like goes and cuts around underneath. Very
stylish.
very tight fitting black leather pants, and very small, snug fitting boots.
Anything interesting about her boots?
They have no heel whatsoever, and they seem to have like very, very, very small kind of metal points to the tips of them.
Okay.
Lilith's gone particularly dark and quiet. She doesn't like the fact, she thinks that they should be the manipulators, not being the manipulatees. She feels like this chick is manipulating them.
Emlyn's just going to look at her and say, how much do you expect to acquire from us by way of payments?
I know that I'm only making an introduction for now, so I would say under the circumstances, 20 gold crowns would be more than fair, and it would show a great gesture of goodwill on your part for when you need my services again.
I take out my coin purse. I guess I have a purse. And
You have
I
a man
slowly
purse. You
and
have a
methodically
merce.
take out one gold coin at a time and lay them out next to each other in rows of 5.
Okay.
So,
So you count out
4
12.
rows of 5, like 20.
All right.
And I look at hers. I have the gold.
She spins around
Where's
and
your
watches
friend?
you. She says, well, I have to take you to him.
Sign this document first.
Okay. Of which she just puts a huge big black X on the document. She says, if it'll make you feel better.
It does.
We need to stop by a few places first, though. Shop. Well, I guess we could do that after.
Well, it would be in our best interest for me to take you where we need to go before the sun goes down. Otherwise, there can be a problem because there'll be guards everywhere, and we'll have a real hard time getting in, and especially a much harder time coming out.
Where is this place?
Oh, it's on
you're taking
Cheapsides.
us? I see.
Okay, put the document in my briefcase and
Your briefcase. A barbarian with a
Tolgar
briefcase.
the lawyer. Yes.
Purse in a briefcase. Let's keep track of
Tolgar,
everything.
Tolgar, and Tolgar, attorney at law.
Tolgar and Tolgar. Oh, that reminds me
Bendis,
of
thanks
a
for the follow, man.
company here. Okay. How is there a way you can sneak me
Findy
around
Feeder, thanks for
without me being recognized so easily? I am a very large
obvious
man.
and very big fellow. The best way to do that would make you... It would be preferable to make you not a person at all.
I will always be a person. What do you mean by this?
Well... trying to disguise a person like you is kind of redundant. So it's better to hide you altogether.
So we look like one mega person, stack each other on top of each
No,
other.
silly. No, I'm talking
French
about
coat it.
you get a handcart and stock it up with wood, and you lay underneath it and they cover it up with wood or something like that. Or you act like muck refuse clearers, and you get a handcart and put Tolgar underneath, put a cloth over him, and pile it up with as much shite as you possibly can. I've used that several times, and it works really well because the guards don't want to route through the shite because it smells so rancid.
Yeah,
As long
Tolgar, that
as you
sounds
give
like a
me,
good idea.
Room to breathe, a stick with a hole in it, or something.
A stick was. You want a straw?
I remember a man back in my town that was hunched over and he used to wear a cloak. Perhaps if you hunched over, wore a cloak, and used a cane, you might be a little less obvious and try to
Right, she looks at
hobble
you
around
and she
with
goes,
perhaps a limp.
He clearly weighs about 300 pounds and he's built like a brick privy. What sort of crunched up old man do you think he's going to pass at?
It has to be an old man, but perhaps a broken one with a limp and a cane.
That doesn't.
That
seem to
has
be
legs the
Tolgar's
size of tree
style.
trunks and arms as big as most people's arms as big as most people's thighs. I don't think that's particularly believable.
Maybe he wears a dress? I don't know.
I like the shit idea better.
Really? Because I thought you would go for the first idea, the wood. Okay.
Any of the ideas.
Well, we do know a stable
as they have
person
stuff.
who can, who has a thing for Lilith over there.
That's true. Exploit that Lilith.
She thought that wouldn't be a bad idea. A big old pile of horse shit, that would be fantastic. I doubt the guards would be very interested in rooting through that, especially if it's a big steaming pile.
Oh,
Lilith?
man.
Sigh.
Lilith?
I think she's muted.
No, I think she's just thinking.
Oh, okay.
No, I've been messaging Gore, and I don't think he's reading my messages.
Whoops.
I saw, yeah, but I didn't require that. I didn't know that required a response.
Oh, okay.
What do you think, Lilith? Can you exploit yourself to get us some materials?
She's
Lilith doesn't answer. What's Anna doing?
just sitting there with a big grin on her face and just keeps blinking at everybody.
At everybody. Is she looking at Lilith?
Momentarily, she kind of looks at you and glances and looks at everybody else. She's just kind of like,
When she meets Lilith's gaze, Lilith uses telepathic gaze.
okay, and what are you doing with telepathic
Oh,
gaze?
shit.
While communicating with a creature in this manner. So if she catches, meets my gaze,
Yep.
I can read her surface thoughts if she fails, if she
Yeah,
attempts
she can
to
make
resist.
a will. But she can make
Yeah.
a will save to try to block it if she feels you start to like push in. All right. Okay. Well, she doesn't try to block it. Quite honestly, she's pretty much like an open book. You find it very easy to pry through the outer layer of her demeanor. Her surface thoughts, pretty much, it seems like she just seems she's very opportunistic. She seems very excited that she's going to make 20 gold for making a simple introduction. And feels like she's going to be able to make a lot of money from you guys in the future. She just seems to be very, very enthusiastic about the encounter altogether. Big Buster Big, thanks for the follow.
Liv recalls the last thieves they've run across and kind of flashes a couple of memories in her own mind about that, about her, about Anna. So she's cautious.
Okay. What were we doing? I forgot. Oh yeah.
Lila's just backs further into
Yeah.
the corner. She's not saying anything.
I believe we were
Okay.
interrogating Anna. Is what we're doing.
Yeah, I had the 20 gold laid out on the table. So,
Well, she hasn't made any attempt to reach out and take it or anything like that.
interesting. Just so you know that we have it, and I'll collect it back up and I'll put it in my pocket.
She says, well, as I said before, it would be really, really good if we could make a positive influence on each other. So a fair gesture of half up front would go an awful long way for making me believe that I can truly trust you fellows.
How about a fourth up front?
Tolgar, what is... I don't understand you. Emily's just gonna, like, walk around the
She
table.
says, yeah, Tolgar,
And
I don't understand you
I don't understand
either.
you, Emlyn. How can you trust this girl?
First off, this isn't our gold to begin with. It's gold that we stole, and I'm going to say this very loudly. Second off, it's not a lot of gold. Third off, we can get more if we need to. We just kill some noble asshole in an alleyway and hopefully get away with it. Fourthly, she was outside our room listening to everything we had to say, and she didn't go and sell us out right then and there. There are no guards coming in.
Of course
We have
not,
no
'cause she's
connections
trying
in
to
this
level-
city.
I have connections, but where she's trying to
Well, then
leverage.
say so, because you haven't said anything except
She did say so. She did say so, actually.
Emily was totally not saying that.
We're
Whoops.
trusting some girl that is trying to leverage the fact that she has information against us.
No, my dear, you'll misunderstand. I don't have information against you. I have information that's for you. He's right. I could have just snuck off and gone. If all I was about was money, I could have gone to the council and said, hey, guess what? Some of the people that you're looking for, they're in that room up there. How much money do you think they would have given me for that? A lot more than 20 gold, I would wager.
Yes, and then you can have that plus the 20 gold when you rat us out later.
Yeah, but that's not going to be useful to me, is it? It will be much more beneficial for me to help you now, and then help you again later, and a bit later, and a bit later.
You can only rob from the dead or captured once.
She says, but you can solicit the aid of the knowledgeable more than once.
Or you can blackmail them.
There's really nothing you can blackmail me about.
No, not you, dear.
What, me? Blackmail you? No. That's entirely too complicated.
Opportunistic.
She said, no, I am opportunistic, but I prefer to keep my dealings as under the table as they are. I like to keep them as above board as they could be, if that makes sense. I find it's a lot easier not to have your head cut off that way.
Liv is creeping up as she's talking. Not really creeping, just walking.
Okay, I mean, she, as I said, she's been just kind of glancing around at everybody, so she doesn't really behave in any way as you walk over in her direction. Just keep smiling and looking at everybody. She said, understand.
Do as you all wish, but I wish nothing to do with any of this. I do not trust her. She has given me no reason to trust her.
Liv
If
transforms into a dire wolf, and she pounces.
Alrighty.
Whoa.
Let me change you into that then. Alright, hold on. Alright. You transform into a huge direwolf as a bonus action and pounce. I'm assuming you're attacking the girl.
Attack?
Yep, I'm gonna bite and try to knock her prone is actually what she does. And I believe in dire form, you guys get advantage if you decide to do combat. This would be a surprise attack, I guess?
Absolutely.
Okay, so would I get advantage on that then, or?
Sure.
I guess? Okay. Alright, so...
Lilith looks horrified at first, but she
All
quickly
right. So
just
your
crosses her
direwolf
arms and
leaps
says
on
nothing.
her, and you stick your teeth in, doing 11 points of damage. She screams in surprise and agony as you guys literally watch as the ginormous wolf sinks its teeth in.
And knocks her prone.
Well, she's sitting prone on the table anyway, so she's kind of pinned to the table. Okay.
Okay.
All she's doing is screaming at the top of her lungs, as loud as possible. Imagine the pain, the surprise, and the shock. It's like high-pitched, incredibly high-pitched
Okay.
screams that are echoing across the room. It is
gonna
very
say-
likely that everybody on this floor definitely heard that. Probably half the tavern heard that.
I'm gonna say, Emlyn, silence her, and I'm gonna try to grab Liv kind of off of her, just to like stop her from attacking
Alright,
more.
make a grapple check.
Oh boy. All right. Oh, what?
Oh, yay, Tolgar!
One.
Alright, so Liv, if you want to stop Tolgar grappling you, you only need to get above a 5.
Okay. Why must I roll a 1?
That would that'd probably be a negative, but it's still like.
Yeah, it's enough. Alrighty. Okie dokie. So you try to grab hold of Liv. She easily wriggles out from underneath you. Okay.
Emlyn.
The girl is continuing to scream. What are you doing, Emlyn?
I'm jumping onto the table and trying to silence her screams as I say, "Stop it!"
What do you?
Liv,
How do you
stop
want to?
With my hand, I'm just trying to like stop her from screaming. I don't really have like anything. Like there's a duffel bag on the table. I guess I could use some of the cloth or flap.
You
from
could
it.
stuff the. You could
Just
totally
stuff it
stuff the whatchamacallit in her mouth. Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna try to do. And I'm gonna say, "Get off! Get off! Get off! Get off!"
If she can, Liv wants to readjust her bite to break her neck.
That's not an ability that you have. You don't have anything
Okay.
that allows you to do an instant kill with a broken neck. All you can do is damage.
Okay. Are we in initiative then, or?
Initiative is really basically you guys can just rotate round action. She is not doing anything. She's screaming. She's in shock. She's in alarm. She's not fighting. She's literally like a kid trying to get a rabid dog off of her. She's just like pushing her arms up, turning her head and screaming as blood pours everywhere. So Emlyn's active, Tolgar's active. Lilith, do you wish to do anything? If not, it's back to Liv.
Hold on. So when Liv is in animal form, she can still understand us, right?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
1 second. Okay. Lilith takes a deep breath, steps forward, and casts command on Liv.
Okay. What are you casting command spell? So basically that enables you to give a single one-word command. And she has to obey that for 1 round unless I believe there's a save for that, isn't there, for command?
Yeah, 1 second.
Let's see. Command me,
It's
Lord!
a wisdom saving throw.
Right, and your DC is wait, what's your charisma?
4.
Okay, so it's plus 4, so that's
It's 8 plus 4 plus 3.
so you're looking at 15. You need a DC save of 15, or you have to do whatever her command is. What is your command?
Stop.
Okay. She does not have to obey that if she doesn't want to, because she passed.
Yep. She wants to bite her again, or clamp down harder,
All right, go
cause
for
more
it.
damage.
All right.
Ah! That's Anna screaming.
Yeah,
A
if
lot
you try to
louder.
make her quiet. I mean, Emlyn, aren't you putting your hands over her mouth? Okay.
What was you doing, Emlyn? I mean, you said you were going to try to... Are you trying to muffle her screams? Is that
I'm trying to muffle her screams, yeah.
Okay,
That's what
alright.
Tolgar told me to do.
Okay, in that case...
Okay, so Liv actively ignored me.
She resisted it, yes.
She resisted. She openly resisted.
Right, so first of all, let's go back to Emlyn before we go on with that. You are trying to do that. Make a grapple check.
Alright.
Because basically you're trying to muffle this over her head. I'm going to give her significant minuses with that.
Yeah. 17.
Unless she rolls a natural 20. Oh, that didn't work.
Nope. Nope.
-4. Okay, no. So you.
Ow.
It's really more now. It's like this. So it's not really that loud.
Okay.
Okay. So yes, Liv. So you're doing another 7 points of damage. It's a total of 18.
Okay.
All right. So she's got a couple of really big, nasty, open, gaping bite marks on her, but she's still alive. So Tolgar.
All right. Since for some reason I was like a little pansy boy the first time.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get a little bit. You're gonna have to get a bit
rage
more
mode.
kind of you know.
Rage mode and then like pull a lot harder. Like at first I was
Reach
just
your
like,
arms
she's a
underneath the
friend,
torso
so, like,
of the dog and pick it all
yeah.
the way up.
Now I'm like really trying. Like this girl is about
Do
to
it.
die. All right. And I need this information. Wow.
Oh my god.
Okay, so to resist, you only need to beat a 10, Liv.
Why?
He's still sucking.
Still like,
Tolgar, what's
can I do
happened
like
to you?
2 grapples since I can do 2 attacks? Oh my
Oh
god.
my god.
A 21. Okay, nope. This damn dog is so slippery. It is just not easy for you
Stop, man.
to
Stop.
keep
Why is it
hold
so
of.
slippery?
See, I mean, you held a
Oh,
were
yeah?
tiger, no problem.
Yeah. I should be
But
better more often.
you know that's all you really. That was you had that covered, but not this dude.
So for my move action then, could I try to like get around like and be in front of her? So like I'm try to like wedge myself in between her and like the girl.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not going to stop her biting her. I mean, you can
Well-
get yourself in the way, but it's it's not going to really
I won't, like,
prohibit
actually-
her. I mean, okay,
Okay.
if you cover her upper torso, Liv can still bite her in the leg or whatever.
Well,
so there
I'll
you go.
just have it so maybe I'll be better positioned to roll better.
Right.
Yeah. That's it. Oh, and I'll say, Liv, stop!
Okay. You say Liv, stop.
She looked up at you like a
Emlyn,
dog
you
with-
doing anything else other than continuing to muffle her screams?
I want to try to grab her away to like split them apart. Since Tolgar's posturing, he'll obviously kick that candelabra off the table, try to grab the girl and fling her off behind him.
All
mean-
right. You make a grapple check then.
Ah, my grapple's so weak.
Even though I realize you're trying to help the girl,
Yeah.
she does not realize that, so she's going to resist you.
and I'm going to say
All this girl knows is that you're all trying to murder her.
Yeah. Well, she only has to roll a 2, so.
Nope, she beat you. Oh, she tied you, so you're kind of pulling at her and stuff like that, and she's kicking and screaming as best she can. Okay. Now who was Tolgar?
Do I get to go?
Yeah, if you want to do something, by all means.
Lilith steps up, says, Olivia, enough. She reaches her hand out and casts Shocking Grasp as she touches Olivia on the head.
Okay.
They're all touching each other.
I'm not touching you. Alrighty. Shocking Grasp.
Oops.
Go ahead. Electrocute the puppy.
And everybody else.
22 versus AC. Okay. So anyone else wearing any kind of metal?
No.
Nope.
All right, then Liv, as a puppy, you take 11 points of lightning damage. Of course, you can't take a reaction until the start of your next turn. Not a reaction, anyway.
Okay.
So she's like...
Lilith is gonna look up at Tolgar and say, "Get her off."
All right. At this point,
And I don't
from
mean that
outside,
maliciously.
you hear... Now, Tolgar, or Jane Ivana, I need to ask you a question. I need you to be as honest as possible. Would Tolgar have locked the door behind him or just closed it when he came in the room?
You would have
Definitely locked it.
Okay, you would have
I'm
locked
gonna
it?
be very honest. For sure would have locked it.
Okay, fair enough. In that case, on the outside of the door, you hear... What the bloody hell's going on in there? Open the door! Open the door now! And that is the perfect place to end it for tonight. Hi there, I'm Gorbad. Welcome to the Orc's Nest. I'm the Dungeon Master here on Howreroll, and if you'd like to follow me personally, you can do so on Twitter @Gorbad. Check out thedmblog.com for all things Dungeon Master and Dungeons & Dragons related. And of course, you can follow me on twitch.tv/Gorbad. Also, guys, don't forget to keep up with all things Howreroll. Follow us on Twitter @Howreroll. Check out the website www.howreroll.com, and make sure you follow us on YouTube as well. Cheers, guys.
I'm the Dragon Spooker, and I play Femme Fatale Lilith Edenwood the Dancer. You can follow me on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/thedragonspooker or on Twitter @dragonspooker. You guys rock my face off, and I can't wait to see you next stream.
Look, I get it. I'm not as cool as Emlyn, the tiefling warlock I play for Howreroll. The dude has 20 charisma. And, well, you guys have seen how I roll. If you suffer from character is cooler than you-itis, maybe we can help each other. Follow me on Twitter @eneb_convos. Maybe make a moderate difference. Let's do this, guys.
Hello and well met. My name is Liv on Howreroll. And when I'm not Liv on Howreroll, I'm Amanda or DM Dicers on Twitter. I have an up-and-coming new podcast called Dead Dice Society you'll be sure not to want to miss. Thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching another episode of Wrath of the Fallen. I'm Jane, and you can follow me on Twitter, the only place where it counts, @Jane on Twitch. That's with a 0, not an O. Peace, suckers. So bad.